Right now at 6, the mother of a domestic violence victim is speaking up, calling for better protective services for survivors of abuse. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and leaders in La Crosse kick it off by asking people to dare to self-care.
You're watching WKDT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now at 6.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for News 8 Now at 6. I'm Amy DuPont. 80 Wisconsinites, 80 lost their lives to domestic violence last year. According to the most recent statistics, that is a nearly 18% increase from the year before. News 8 Now's Rob Romano spoke to a Monroe County mom who wants justice for her daughter.
Good evening, Amy. On May 10th, Sparta police discovered the body of 32-year-old Sarah Latimer in a Jefferson Avenue apartment. Her boyfriend, 32-year-old Sean Hawk, according to authorities, beat her to death. Latimer's mother wants the perpetrator held accountable and police to do more to prevent domestic violence-related deaths.
This was 2 years in me asking for help. This isn't new.
Nikki Latimer, mother of the late 32-year-old Sarah Latimer, says she went to law enforcement for years because she was concerned about her daughter, Sarah Latimer's safety. She says her daughter's boyfriend, 32-year-old Sean Hawk, was beating her.
We need more. We need some kind of protocol to help people like this. You knew about this. This has been ongoing. Something could have been set in place for Sarah.
According to a criminal complaint, numerous prior calls for service were made to the residence of Hawk and Sarah Latimer prior to Latimer's death. Hawk had a history of domestic abuse and had been convicted on April 13th for a previous incident involving Latimer in March 2021. Latimer alleges that an officer with the Sparta Police Department suspected that Hawk was going to kill her daughter before the incident actually happened.
The cop told me on the phone he is going to kill her if she doesn't get out.
Earlier, Latimer's mother showed me pictures of her late daughter's face, which was swollen after being severely bruised. Latimer had previously suffered a stroke in 2010 and was prone to seizures. Latimer's mother says police need to be trained to help domestic abuse victims, even if they don't ask for it. She says law enforcement and adult protective services need better communication so they can know which citizens are most vulnerable to being hurt.
Something should pop up that, yes, they are a person at risk. And that goes along with me talking to the police until that point so many times, several officers, adult protective services, where people could work together.
And now Latimer's mother also claims that the Monroe County District Attorney's Office has not maintained close communication with her. However, Monroe County DA Kevin Croninger says he most recently spoke to Latimer for over an hour. He adds that the office has contacted Latimer by mail, email, and by phone to keep her updated on a regular basis. Amy, back to you.
All right, thank you, Rob. According to the 2021 statewide domestic violence report, 84.5% of perpetrators were male, 67% of homicides listed firearms as the weapon used, and more than a third of the perpetrators who used a gun were not legally allowed to own a firearm in Wisconsin. Well, La Crosse Mayor Mitch Reynolds did declare October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. News 8 Now's Emily Haugen is live in studio to explain how community members are raising awareness and why that matters.
Amy, the Reach Center, together with New Horizons and the YWCA, held their first annual Dare to Self-Care event today. But today's event was about more than self-care.
The act of self-care can be preventative.
A lot of times we just get caught up in the day-to-day. Our mental health is so incredibly important to us.
It also can be healing.
And let's focus on survivors while we're bringing attention and letting people understand how important it is to take care of yourself.
For victims and survivors of domestic abuse, self-care is only a part of the process.
It's important to bring awareness to domestic violence so that we can work towards ending the stigma.
Awareness, something New Horizons Executive Director Ann Kapoff feels strongly about.
I don't even think that I saw myself as ever having been a victim of abuse until I applied for my position at New Horizons.
Ann didn't know how to talk about it then.
30-some years ago, people didn't even know what domestic abuse was, or again, they didn't talk about it because people didn't talk about it.
Today, it's okay to talk about it, but Ann says we need more action. According to a new report, in 1 year, Wisconsin's domestic-related death toll rose from 68 to 80.
I think too often the general public thinks that domestic abuse is a private thing, but we all know that abuse happens, right? And out of 3 women, 1 person is going to be affected by domestic abuse at some time in their life, right?
Anne asks that people keep their eyes open for the warning signs.
I think if I have to say something, it's believe people, right? Believe what you see, trust your gut.
And she asks you to step up.
If you or someone you know is in a domestic abuse situation, help is available. You can contact New Horizons hotline at 888-231-0066. Amy?
All right, thanks, Emily. And today's event also offered a space for female and LGBTQ vendors, as well as vendors of color, groups that local experts say are often disproportionately affected by domestic violence.
Well, it was really a nice start to the work week today. Very pleasant temperatures after a beautiful Oktoberfest weekend. A high of 73 on Saturday, 72 yesterday, and today 70 degrees in La Crosse and Winona, 71 in Sparta, and 72 in Black River Falls, 68 in Eau Claire. Just some high clouds at times, and that's the trend this evening as well with that filtered sunshine. Might make for some nice colors for that sunset underway. Otherwise, you can see those high and mid-level clouds near and west of La Crosse especially, but no rain falling from those clouds until you head well to the west across the Dakotas, stretching down into Nebraska. Still 68 in La Crosse, 65 in Eau Claire and Sparta, also 68 in Winona, 62 in Viroqua, and 67 in Prairie du Chien. So some high and mid-level clouds at times overnight, not overly cool. Lows in La Crosse right around 50 degrees. A couple more mild days in store, but boy, big changes on the way for later this week. I'll detail those with my 8-day forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Bill. MTU is going mobile. Bus riders can now download a mobile bus pass app to their phone, buy passes, and then get on the bus using a QR code. MTU officials say it's going to make getting on the bus faster.
They don't have to dig out of their wallet, get their bus pass. They can just load up the QR code and be ready to go. There's a scanner on the bus, and you'll hear it beep, and the scanner will go green, and then you're good to go.
To find the app, search MTU Mobile Pay in your phone's App Store or Google Play. We're going to post this information at news8000.com. The City of La Crosse's racial equity team wants your help. It launched a survey to better understand how people use city services. The survey also asked people if they think the city is being inclusive and how comfortable they feel when using the services like police and fire, libraries, and voting facilities. The city says the racial equity team will use its findings to create an equity action plan. Now, paper copies are available at City Hall. We will post a link to the online survey at news8000.com. A Ho-Chunk artist will be remembered for generations to come. UWL officially dedicated its Center for the Arts as the Ho-Chunk to the Ho-Chunk sculptor Truman Lowe. The late artist got his start at UWL, and he went on to become internationally acclaimed. He also became a professor at the UW-Madison. The UWL campus occupies former Ho-Chunk land, and Lowe's daughter says that dedication will be powerful for Native students.
Representation matters, and so if you're a Native student coming onto campus and you see that the Center of the Arts is named after a Ho-Chunk artist and educator, I think it says the university is basically saying, we see you and we believe in you.
Lowe says La Crosse had a special place in her dad's heart. He is the first person of color with a UWL building named in his honor. Still ahead, helping after a hurricane, the ways you can donate money and make sure it goes to the organizations who need it most. And later, making donations closer to home. With cold weather just a couple weeks away, a nonprofit wants to keep everyone warm.
We're paying more for food, gas, and rent. But Tony Evers wants to take even more of our money. He tried to raise the gas tax by 20% and double the tax on our heating bills. Evers wanted to use our tax dollars to pay people who refuse to work. And he wanted to give taxpayer-funded benefits to those who entered our country illegally. Evers even opposed drug testing for those getting welfare. We just can't afford 4 more years of Tony Evers.
Lane's Farm and Fleet's fall jean sale is going on now. We offer genuine value on quality jeans and work pants every day. But right now, get even greater denim deals on the brands you love. like men's Rustler jeans, just $14.99. Rewards members save an extra buck. Kids silver bootcut denim, only $19.99. Plus, all tires are on sale. Get a $100 rebate when you buy 4 Cooper tires. Rewards members get an extra $50 instant savings.
Find value at Grainger More Than Fleet.
The radical left hate America and riot in our streets. They indoctrinate our children to hate America, stoking fear and envy with their lies and deceptions. Their radical woke agenda and divisive politics are tearing our country apart. Here's Mandela Barnes.
The founder of this nation, awful.
Mandela Barnes is a radical leftist. He supports their woke agenda that's causing you and your family so much pain.
I'm Ron Johnson, and I approve this message.
The damage left behind by Hurricane Ian is extraordinary, and many people are going to need help. According to area nonprofits, one of the best ways is by donating money. News and Now's U.S. Raw explains ways you can donate and scams to watch out for.
Amy, according to the Better Business Bureau, the best way to make sure your donations end up in the right hands is by donating to a charity you're familiar with.
When disaster strikes, nationwide, people look for ways to help.
The generosity of our local communities is so important, and it's evident when disasters like this happen.
Along with people looking to donate are people looking to take advantage.
Anytime that there's a disaster or tragedy, we see a lot of scammers come out of the woodwork.
According to Better Business Bureau Director of Investigations Lisa Schiller, following Hurricane Ian, scams are on the rise.
Generally by creating fake websites, creating websites with charity names that are very similar.
Schiller encourages people to donate to charities that are in Florida and South Carolina.
So you want to basically support charities that have an on-the-ground presence.
Red Cross is just one of the charities providing in-person relief.
This disaster, we're going to be there for quite some time, weeks and months ahead.
Executive Director of Southwest Wisconsin Red Cross, Kyle Kriegel, says when donating, clarify what disaster relief you want to contribute to.
So if a donor designates it to go to Hurricane Ian, those funds will go directly to Hurricane Ian.
While some charities may look for food and clothing donations, Schiller says shipping physical items is not always the most effective form of relief.
Donating money really is the quickest way to help.
Regardless of how you choose to donate, Schiller says always do your homework.
Donate to somebody that you know and that you're familiar with.
One of the easiest ways to check if a charity is real is by going on give.org. You can type in the name of any charity and it will let you know if that charity is approved by the Better Business Bureau.
Great advice. Thank you, Dua. And we're going to post that link on news8000.com. Still ahead, the Gemütlichkeit is still spreading. Oktoberfest leading ladies are gathering to hear from one of their own.
And I'm Chief Meteorologist Bill Grahl. A couple more mild days in store, but boy, then much cooler temperatures later this week. All the details coming up next.
I worked in law enforcement for more than 30 years. I know what it takes to keep our community safe. Mandela Barnes stands with Defund the Police and supports no cash bail that releases dangerous criminals back into our communities. Barnes supports sanctuary cities and spending millions of taxpayer dollars on illegal immigrants. Take it from me, the bad guys belong in jail, and Mandela Barnes belongs nowhere near the Senate.
Senate Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Make this year the Halloween of your screams. Get scary savings with 11% off all Halloween. now at Menards.
Meet Brad Paff. He never had a job outside of politics. Seriously, he hung around long enough to climb that political ladder. He'll never fix Washington. He won't even try. Me, I spent 26 years fighting for our country. I served as a Navy SEAL, and I know how to get things done. I'm Derek Van Orden, and I approve this message. Let's try something different. Let's change the people we're sending to D.C.
Sinking driveway, settling patio, collapsing stoop, uneven pool deck. It's a fact. Concrete problems don't get better with time, but they do get better when you call American Water Works.
Ron Johnson's at it again, lying about my taxes. Let's be clear, my taxes are paid in full, but there were times I was getting by on peanut butter sandwiches. And that's why I support a tax cut for the middle class. Put more money in your pockets, because I know how hard you work. But Johnson used his Senate seat to write a loophole that gave huge tax cuts to himself and his biggest donors, leaving us with crumbs. And that's how we get left behind. I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
Gary knows golf.
You need to have good balance, good support.
Where to find that support?
2 words, The Good Feet Store. How many words is that?
Swing by for your free arch support fitting.
Thank you for watching News 8 Now, our community, your station.
The fest is over, but the celebration of people who make Oktoberfest great is still going strong. A huge crowd attended today's Ladies' Day luncheon. Past Mrs. Oktoberfest winners, their families, and past Festmasters came together to honor the past Mrs. O winners and their accomplishments. A former Miss La Crosse Oktoberfest also shared her story of how deeply the fest influenced her life and how much she loves celebrating everything and everyone the fest honors.
A bit like a wedding or a homecoming. I mean, we see people that we don't see at other times of the year, and it just feels so good to be home. Fest is truly family.
Misty also says no matter how busy her schedule is, she always makes time for Oktoberfest. Here we go, folks. Winter is coming, and it's coming soon, but you can help people stay warm this year. The YWCA of La Crosse is accepting clothing donations now through November 1st. They need new and gently used coats, hats, and mittens. You can drop them off at a number of locations in La Crosse, including the People's Food Co-op and Larson's General. Go to news8000.com for a complete list of drop-off locations. And boy, it's going to start to feel cool rather quick here. Chief Meteorologist Bill Grahl is tracking our temperatures.
Yeah, we've got a couple more mild days left, but boy, later this week, big changes are in store. You'll see that in just a moment. But boy, what a beautiful Oktoberfest weekend for the La Crosse area. 70 was the high on Friday to wrap up September. Not on here because October 1st and 2nd. Saturday we hit 73. Yesterday we hit 72. So just a beautiful weekend. But there's the final numbers. 12 days of the month below average for that high temperature. 2 right on average, the 21st and the 3rd, and then 16 days above average. Now, when you include the overnight lows as well, it was drier and slightly warmer than average. Average temperature 65.2 degrees. That's 0.4 degrees above average. Tied for the 26th warmest September on record. Hottest temperature was 89 degrees on the 20th. Coldest temperature just above freezing on the 28th. But look at the rainfall, only 1.66 inches. That is almost 2 inches below average. In fact, 23 of the last 30 Septembers have been drier than average, and it's been a dry year so far. 8 of the 9 months this year have been drier than average. So we could use some moisture across the upper Midwest. Skies are, well, partly cloudy. We've got some high and mid-level clouds actually making for some nice colors for that sunset as we look live off to the west through CityCam 8. 71 was the official high today, 51 the low, so slightly above average. Averages are 68 and 47. 91 the record set in 1997, 26 the record low set in 1888. 68 degrees out at the airport, 67 downtown here at the station. Winds out of the south at 5 to 10 and the Mississippi holding steady 4.94 feet. You folks in Eau Claire, 65 degrees with some high clouds as well, and the Chippewa holding steady, 758.9. So temperatures quite pleasant for early October, some 70s and 80s over the Central Plains. A little cooler here in the Cooley region, but still mid to upper 60s for most, although 61 in Viroqua, already down to 59 in Black River Falls. Winds out of the south and southeast at around 5 to 10, and just some high clouds scattered about our neck of the woods. But believe it or not, we're still dealing with the remnants of Ian, still causing some rainfall from Boston down through New York and the nation's capital as that kind of stubborn low just continues to spin off the coast there. Closer to home, we've got a strong cold front, an upper level low behind it. The two will combine to bring a chance of rain showers by Wednesday, and then much cooler air follows this front heading into Thursday and Friday. So dry tonight, dry tomorrow. We will see some clouds at times though, but probably some filtered sunshine tomorrow. And then heading into our Wednesday, that's when that upper level low starts to come into play, wrap some moisture into the area with a chance for some scattered showers, especially later in the day and into Wednesday evening. Maybe an isolated rumble of thunder as well. High temperatures tomorrow though, pretty nice yet. Low to mid 70s in La Crosse County, low to mid 70s down to the south as well. In fact, most spots between about 70 and 76 degrees for afternoon highs. So that is still above average for this time of year. 50 tonight, partly cloudy, not overly cool. Tomorrow, 73 in La Crosse with a mix of clouds and sun. Still mild Wednesday, but a chance of showers, especially in the afternoon. 71 for the high, but look at Thursday, breezy and much cooler. 58, small chance for a shower, and highs only in the 50s Friday and Saturday. In fact, lower 50s on Friday. And look at the overnight lows. Thursday night into Friday morning, Friday night into Saturday morning, probably some 20s to lower 30s. So we could be looking at areas of frost and freezing temperatures later this week. So keep that in mind. And then we do warm back into the 60s. Sunday, next Monday, and Tuesday as well.
Good news, we won't have to mow our grass for much longer.
No, and you know, it's October, so these types of overnight lows are more and more common.
Yeah, thanks, Bill.
Okay.
Coming up in sports, a wild weekend for the Badgers. Paul Chryst officially out as Wisconsin's head coach. Plus another hard-fought win for the Packers, a lot harder than most fans thought it would be. But that's 3 straight wins for Green Bay. Rob has the recap and reaction next in sports.
The Board Store inaugural Fall Home Show is underway. A $250 discount coupon is yours just for stopping by to see all the new displays and updates we have made. We'd love to meet you.
Did you know Tim Michaels wants to criminalize abortion, even for pregnant rape victims?
But are you willing to support exceptions for rape or incest?
That's correct. Is that the kind of divisive radical you want as your governor?
It says here, United Healthcare has America's most chosen Medicare plans and local Medicare plan experts.
They'll even find you a plan with good dental coverage.
How do you know?
Maggie, my local Medicare plan expert. She helped me find the right plan.
With benefits including prescription drug, vision, and dental coverage, our Wisconsin team is ready to help you find a Medicare plan that meets your needs and budget.
Talk to a local Medicare plan expert today at 1-888-SHOP-UHC.
Long before women could vote, Wisconsin politicians wrote a law that banned abortion and jailed doctors who performed them.
The 1849 law is an exact mirror of my position.
Tim Michaels would ban abortion, even in cases of rape or incest, and send doctors to jail for performing them. It's not 1849 anymore, and while we might not have been able to vote back then, we sure can now.
Why are we the clear choice for new windows?
A 5-star customer experience. Our exclusive Weather Guardian installation system ensures your windows are weather tight. Windows installed by factory trained employees, not subcontractors. Windows that are 1,500% more airtight than industry standards. Foam filled frames and sashes. The most efficient triple pane glass in the industry.
For a limited time, receive 24 months interest-free financing.
Did you know Tim Michaels wants to criminalize abortion, even for pregnant rape victims?
But are you willing to support exceptions for rape or incest?
That's correct.
Is that the kind of divisive radical you want as your governor?
Covering all of the exciting action from your community, here's News 8 Now's Rob Schiff.
It's sports news that's been sending shockwaves across the state. Paul Chryst officially out as the Wisconsin Badger head coach. This comes after a blowout loss to Illinois on Saturday, which dropped the Badgers to 2-3 on the season. Chryst took over in 2015 and led the Badgers to 7 straight bowl game appearances. Chryst is a Madison native, ended up playing quarterback for the Badgers before he switched over to coaching. He's been a part of the program for a long time, 7+ years at the helm, and his legacy will always be a part of the team.
Couldn't have more respect for Coach Chryst, for who he is, for what he stands for his commitment to this place. First and foremost to our student athletes, to our players.
But McIntosh says it was time for a change, and that was a decision made for the future of the program. Defensive coordinator Jim Leonhard is taking over as the interim head coach. Leonhard will likely be a candidate to get the head coaching job permanently, but the university will still conduct a wide search. For now, Leonhard is focusing on getting the Badgers ready for the rest of the season.
I feel like I can take this opportunity and help this place grow. And that's why I came back a number of years ago, and that's why I haven't left. And that's the mission that I want to continue forward with our guys, and just getting them to understand the trust, the confidence we have in this group of men, that we will get this thing going the right direction, and it's going to happen sooner than later.
Leonhard will make his coaching debut this Saturday. The Badgers are on the road taking on a Northwestern team that's lost 4 straight. Well, for the second straight week, it wasn't pretty for the Packers, but Green Bay gets it done again. The Green and Gold struggled in the first half against New England on Sunday, especially Aaron Rodgers. An awful first half, capped off by this interception, just the 4th pick 6 of Rodgers' career, only the 2nd at Lambeau. But the second half, a different story for the Packers. 2 touchdown passes from Rodgers, including this one to Romeo Doubs late in the 4th, that tied this one up at 24. And then Mason Crosby, he ends it in overtime. A win that was a lot harder than most fans expected, but for the Packers, they'll take it however they can get it.
I think it's just another character win. I think those, an OT win that we haven't had in a while. You go down to Tampa and battle that way. I think it's just, you see, what a lot of guys are made of, and our defense came to play again, and we put them in some tough situations, and then when we needed to score, we did. So just another character win.
All right, that'll do it for sports. We'll be back right after the break.
Connect with us on Twitter at News8News. Or you can always find us at news8000.com.
They're destroying America and our livelihoods. Now, DC elites are spending big on Brad Paff. The same Beltway bigwigs who wasted taxpayer money that bailed out elite golf courses and luxury hotels are now bankrolling Brad Paff's campaign because Brad Paff supported their big spending, price-hiking, reckless schemes. And that's why we can't send him to Washington. Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning has been providing year-round comfort to thousands of area homes for over 80 years.
But to us, it's more than just heating and cooling. It's about making sure our customer is comfortable every step of the way.
From the people that answer the phones to the technicians that come to your door, you can trust that we'll get the job done right the first time.
That's our goal, whether it's a new installation or a service call, is to make sure you're comfortable.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
On crime, Tony Evers broke his promise. Evers released hundreds of violent criminals from prison. Murderers, child rapists, back on our streets. Evers broke his promise. Now we're less safe than ever.
Tim Michels took an oath to protect America, and that's what he'll do as governor. Michels will put more police on the street, fire weak prosecutors, and keep criminals behind bars. Strength and leadership. Tim Michels for governor.
Partly cloudy overnight, lows in the Cross dropping to about 50 degrees. Couple more mild days tomorrow and Wednesday, much cooler by Thursday.
Coat and hat weather coming up soon. We'll see you at 10.